Hey, it's been a while, but I'm here with one of my friends, and we're gonna give our thoughts on rumors that's
Recent
been
video
going around.
about a KOTOR remake. Seems like
Yes,
that's going to be more and more the thing.
I've heard rumors about this literally for years. I don't know, probably going back before 2015.
Uh,
And
um, Coming off Ryan's vid, that they said it was in development since 2016 but fell apart. That would actually make sense.
yeah,
Well, my first takeaway is, for one thing, the canon debate. Which canon is it? Is it Legends? Is it the new canon? If it has changes in its Legends, do those overwrite the previous one? If it's the new canon, it has very little changes, then what's the point?
yeah. Because my
To be
biggest
honest,
concern, like you said, what timeline is it going to be part of? Like,
and what changes do they bring to the? What it seems like to me, and this is the one I'm actually hoping for, is the changes they adapt from their new canon into it, so that it's a kind of half KOTOR, half Disney type thing set within the Disney canon. I'm like, that's fine. Let them have it. Let them do that.
but then, on the other side, I'm just like, well, why does it have to be part of the new canon? Like, why does a new story, just because it's the new Star Wars story, like, why does it have to automatically be part of the new canon?
Well, what
I'm,
Ryan talked about, Ryan was very upset that they're gonna like perhaps try to connect it to the High Republic or something, push it up past
they're
one
most
thousand
likely going to
BBY.
do that.
I would actually support that because it's like the worst thing to me would be it's almost like the original, past a few changes, and it's within the Disney timeline or both. That would just be no. I'm not a fan of that.
Uh,
Just imagine like Revan defying Yoda to go fight the Nihil, the Mandalorians. What? It's just I've said for a while now. I think Nihil are going to be tied to Darth Nihilus somehow, who's like a Galactus figure.
oh my. Oh,
It
what
won't be MCU.
else? So, like, even if they did put it in Legends, with the game being with the old canon tier system where like the games are like lower, like
As
it didn't
canon.
happen how it was played. Exactly, like you said.
Well, it seems more like T canon nonsense. Oh, well, given the political grandstanding that a lot of the Lucasfilm employees have, I think they'd probably use this big opportunity for a remake to shove a bit of SJW politics into it. And, I know the Menace talks about that a lot, and I'm not a fan of the Menace. I don't necessarily disagree with all their points, so much as how they present it, I'll say. I disagree with how they present it.
hmm
But I
Especially
also
talking
think
about the same thing over and over again.
but I think the timeline issues are going to be a bigger concern. And I say, let them change it. Let them push it up to 200 BBY. I just like
Yeah, like
you can tell this is not going to work, at least in the way the old hardcore fans want it, because of one reason. Drew Carperson's not going to be working on it.
that's true. And also having it only a few hundred years before, like that's dumb because, like, again, like there was supposed to be no major conflict,
With the
like
Sith.
galactic wide, that affected the entire galaxy in between, you know,
I mean,
the 1,000 years before and up until the Clone Wars. Like it was just minor skirmishes.
yeah, well, we know Dave Filoni was like undoing the prequels and the run of TCW, and they're doing the same thing now. The people there that they don't care about the G canon, they don't care about canon in any sense of the word. So that's exactly what they're going to do.
It's almost like we've said before about, um, how they're like putting Thrawn in and all this stuff. They're like, "See, Legends
Oh yeah,
fans, see, we gave you a bone." It's like, no.
my takeaway is that they're trying to ape the appearance of what they think the fans think George would have done, if that makes sense. Like, because George spoke very highly of the Thrawn trilogy, it sold like 12 million copies. They're just trying to give themselves an air of legitimacy because they're very insecure, is how I see it. And you
Mm,
can see this when they lash out at people on Twitter. They're very insecure.
I'm glad. I mean, I do have like social media, but I'm glad I stayed off of stuff like Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that's the internet for you. It's stuff we hear like there's going to be a Thrawn show in Mandalorian. They're probably going to do just that. Ahsoka's going to be the main character taking on Thrawn or whatever in place
Or
of
they're
Luke.
gonna
But
have like
I'm just not a fan of that. The, the thing I'm hoping for is that they connect to the High Republic with the KOTOR remake. That would just be yes, do that
and oh, what was I gonna say? And yeah, instead of Mara Jade, we have Ahsoka.
or something. I don't know.
I don't know, like man.
Yeah, Ryan brought up how they shot down that KOTOR fan video, KOTOR Imperial, I think it's called.
Yeah, that a couple years ago they were developing that, and then they just shut it down. Which, I did have some issues with, that fan game just looking at it because they made it so different from the original. It's like, oh, we're gonna make it like a 3D action RPG, like Skyrim and Fallout, which are fun games, but to me that's not KOTOR. I want that turn-based real-time combat, like the original game.
They did a few videos on that. I think the KOTOR Imperial stuff.
Yeah. Man, that feels
Um,
so long ago.
yeah, but that's the thing. It's just without Drew Carpershin involved. I know he dropped the ball with the Revan novel and all that, but still, without the man, it's just I don't see how KOTOR remake would be any good, especially with all the changes they're going to give it. I'm rooting for the changes. I don't want something that's like it's not going to be a perfect replica.
Yeah, I
The
agree
only
with you
people who would be
there.
happy with a near perfect replica, despite the changes, would be EU casuals. You know, those who love it and want more. Actually, who just are fine with the taking pieces and cherry picking them into canon. Those would be the EU casuals. They're the opposite of the haters. Read a few books, they like them, and then they're fine with them being like mutated into their new Frankenstein monster
I
canon.
remember Dash Star was a YouTuber who kind of had that attitude. He was like, he was an EU fan, but he would always be like, "Oh, I just hope that they'd make this character canon."
I mean,
And I just
to
cringe
be
whenever I
fair,
hear stuff like that.
to be fair, Lucasfilm was doing it all to themselves. They want the new canon to extend right down to the lowest levels, just like the old EU. Make it the books, comics, the short stories, etc. At all.
And it's like,
Yeah.
what's funny is I'm actually willing to give the High Republic a chance.
Yeah. How would you feel if they just like connected KOTOR to that? That's I kind of what I think they're gonna do.
Yeah, like I said, it makes sense they do that.
Uh,
Oh.
I mean, in terms of the fans are already treating the Disney canon as an alternate timeline. Same with Legends. The only ones who aren't are Lucasfilm because they're stubborn and narcissistic. So they want to do
Hmm.
this. Let them go ahead. I mean, I don't need the remake. The original games hold up very well, gameplay aside.
Yeah, because like the game, there's some of the animations that do kind of look a little bit clunky, and if they just got updated, that would be pretty
AI path,
sweet.
the AI pathing, like where if you're not set the right way, Atom runs right into the mines on the surface of Telos. I've had that happen many
And also, I've
times.
had things in the first game where, I'm going to a new area, but for some reason you know, uh, companion is still so far away, and you're like, ugh, what happened? Did they get stuck trying to walk or whatever?
I've only ever played KOTOR 2 completely through because my computer's never been able to handle the first one. But to me, what made the games magical, oh, just it was about the connections all the planets have to other parts of the EU lore. Jedi Academy, Jedi Apprentice, Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's so you're getting people who are going to be making this who don't care about canon, who don't know what canon is, so they're just going to be drafting stuff here and there. I think that's what makes a lot of people nervous.
You know what I've been wondering? What if Chris Avalon actually was involved? Because he was involved in uh,
E.
Jedi Fallen
Yeah,
Order. So like, what if they
yeah.
brought him in?
I don't know. He criticized Last Jedi, and we don't even know who's going to be making the remake. That's the thing. It's a remake slash sequel. What I think they're going to do, the remake slash sequel, is just misreporting. It's going to be the first two, the original two. That's what the remake slash sequel is about. The two.
Man, how would you fit the story of both games into one?
Into one or both at the same time, something like that. That's what I think it's about. His TV show Rumor had me really cringy. It's just like, oh god, is it going to be a TV show helmed by Dave Filoni? Is it going to be rated Y7 or is it going to be like The Mandalorian? It's just. Ryan had brought up a good point. He said that the fan service is just what's keeping that show going, nothing else. And I'm like,
I can't comment because I haven't watched season 2 as of yet.
Oh, and the member berries. The member berries are all they have.
Yeah, that's what it's been like for Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise since they've taken hold. It's just been member berries, with the original trilogy. Now they're gonna try to do that with KOTOR.
Except they're shoving some left-wing ideology into it. And let me say, I'm actually center-left, so I don't really disagree on principle, but they make it too obvious so that everyone is commenting on it, and then they respond with, you're just racist, you're sexist, playing the race and gender card. And
be careful what you say, dude, because there's a certain loser on the internet that might take what you say and be like, no, man, what about all this woke stuff in KOTOR?
I mean,
you probably know who I'm talking about. We won't say his name, but
I don't know. I feel like that's really all they have going, the member berries and their political beliefs, because I think they're kind of seeing it through that slant of the original trilogy, kind of like
I guess
Star
you could
Trek.
say, because there was actually, some like political stuff in like KOTOR, but they're gonna they'd probably do it in a way where it's just kind of like too heavy-handed.
I like political social commentary that's more timeless. Star Trek Next Generation, it did it a lot better when it wasn't ham-fisted, when it was more like timeless human type themes. I think that worked out a lot better, and the KOTOR games were kind of the same way.
Yeah, like, do you remember there was that one like human supremacist on the street?
Was that the first one?
Yeah, it was in the first one on Terrace. There's a guy, he was saying like really bad stuff against aliens.
I never actually got to finish, but it doesn't surprise me. Palpatine built his whole empire on xenophobia against the aliens who started the war, that he engineered it that way.
Yeah. And there's probably other stuff in KOTOR, but I can't think of it at the top of my head.
Saying that, it just made me think of the writing around Kreia. She's one of my favorite Star Wars characters ever.
Oh, the best woman character in Star Wars ever written, hands down.
Woman villain. Because it's a unique philosophy no one's ever seen. I was thinking about her line about where she said, don't doubt that with words, a republic may be overthrown and an empire made. It's like that kind of meta commentary.
Foreshadowing, too.
I just don't think that anyone there has that kind of writing, and if they do, there's going to be heavy edit.
It's basically going to be watered down.
Smother it.
Oh, you got cut off again.
No.
So I couldn't hear you.
I was talking about how, I don't remember.
Man, ooh, what else?
I mean, for one thing, here's something I just thought of.
Ooh, what's on your mind?
If they do KOTOR and they put Moraband in both games, assuming they do both, will they go with the TCW name Moraband?
Well, you know what's really funny is they actually brought back the name Moraband in the new canon, and they went with, it's just two different names of the same planet. Which is so weird. It's like, why did they do that?
I don't know. It's just... That's the one thing I wonder. Will the planets look like something Dave Filoni's done? We know Malachor 5 has been shifted to look different. So is Onderon.
Hmm. Like, instead of the mass shadow generator on Malachor in the new canon, it was just like
I mean, it's why he doesn't
some
get
super
it.
weapon thing like that looks like a
Why,
ripoff of the Thought Bomb.
why is the planet round in Rebels? It should be a broken husk out, pulled towards the gravity grip of the mass shadow generator. That's what it should be. It
Hmm.
wasn't. I don't get how anyone could call Filoni a lore master with that botch.
Yep, another example, just like the whole Yularen thing.
That's another thing. Dave Filoni is this huge alleged EU fan. Is he going to have some stake in this KOTOR remake?
More than
Who
likely.
knows? You know, it's not going to be true carpation. It's going to be those who get it with cronyism or nepotism.
Oh, the thought of a Dave Filoni, Old
KOTOR TV
Republic,
series.
that kind of scares me.
It low key triggers me.
Like, oh, imagine what they could do next. Next thing you know, they're gonna do like a remake of the Bane trilogy, except with the Shredder Bane.
I mean,
Cause
look at what they got announced for the ObiWan series. It's just going to rip off Last of the Jedi and the Kenobi novel, but it's going to have Anakin and Obi-Wan fight again.
it's like, why?
What's set 10 years before A New Hope, so I think they're just doing it to cash in on SC-38's views.
You may
Those
be
kind
onto
of numbers.
something there. They're like jealous about the fan projects. They're like, we just might as well remake it
I
or
mean,
make
they
our
got
version of
30,
it.
30 million views a year. They probably think they can get great ratings for that. It wouldn't shock me if they just took footage straight from that fan video.
Oh, because
But
hasn't Lucasfilm stole stuff before from fans?
mostly fan art ship designs. And Car
Mm.
Slatters covered videos on this.
Yeah, I don't know what specific ship is, but I've just heard that from rumors
Well,
around.
they own it, so they can take whatever they want. Say, hey, best news is we own it. You can't sue. I could see that.
Mm.
So yeah,
You know what's funny is if the the KOTOR remake is bad, it might drive me back to playing the Old Republic MMO, which I actually haven't played in a few years. I mean, I was hyped for that game, in middle school. Like I remember doing a video about it in this video class explaining it, but and I'd probably have fun again.
what I'm
It's
worried
just
about is
it's
yeah,
just I have to reinstall it on, my laptop or my computer. Oh, so go ahead.
what I'm worried about being a KOTOR 2 fan mostly
Oh,
is how they handle Mira. She's both a feisty lady, which is cool, and a
she's a
Mandalorian,
redhead.
which Disney Star Wars Disney has their own weird interpretations of those. They really want tough women types, but they don't want them to have any adversity. But they also don't like how the Mandalorians were portrayed, so they made them pacifists.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh man, there is no way they do
For one,
Kreia justice.
they're gonna change Mira's clothing type. She does that to distract her enemy. She said it, so there's a good tactical reason they're gonna change it.
Oh yeah, because we can't have yeah,
That just shows she's really confident. So what's the problem there? Just
exactly.
I don't get it. Let's see what other characters from KOTOR 2 could they ruin.
Oh, like I said, Kreia, they'd probably just make her, two-dimensional. She wouldn't, or if they did add her philosophy in it, it would be just watered down.
Yeah. Or some kind of anti-religion thing. Again, tying into the left-wing thing they have going, which is Correa was absent from all that. Let's see. What other Kodo characters were there that ruined? I don't know, HK-47.
Oh,
I
I was
don't
about to bring that up. They'd probably just make him goofy.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look what they did to Quinlan Voss.
They make him like into a evil, slightly smarter version of the TCW B1 battle droids, or like the
I mean,
tactical droids.
he's supposed to be like this gleeful murder machine. I don't think they could do Godo. Godo was a very complex character. It's like something from Terminator, Skynet.
Yeah, I did get Skynet vibes out of that, even though I'd never seen Terminator.
Yeah, well, yeah, his backstory is very compelling. Don't think they could do that right. Who else? Who else do they have? I haven't played KOTOR 2 in 3 years. The Handmaiden. Oh boy, what would they do? They definitely choose her over the disciple. So,
Hmm.
what would they do to her?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to think.
Just in a nutshell.
Oh God, the idea of Dave Filoni handling Kander's Ordo.
Oh my.
Yes. Yes, I know how you feel.
I don't want to imagine that.
I'd just rather get the Karen Travis novels before that. And I know the reputation she has in fandom, but at the same time, I do respect the like Queen of the Mandalorian thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts for this?
Oh, I got one more thing. So, like I said, when I was worried about the Imperial remake, when they made it like an action RPG, like, is the gameplay going to be similar? That's another thing. But just updated with, better animations and all that, because that's all
Can,
I'd want from a...
can I make a prediction?
Ooh, let's
I
hear.
think I think seeing how some games have been released recently, in my own experience, I think there's going to be so much studio interference and oversight and mismanagement that the gameplay isn't even going to be that good. It'll
And
be
it's going to
good
suffer
at
from,
best.
a lot of problems other modern AAA titles have, like,
I mean,
a lot of glitches, just unfinished.
I mean, a
Basically what
modern
happened to Cyberpunk in a way, but probably not as bad. Oh, did you...
you wonder what they're adding to it and change.
Nope, you got cut off again.
Just makes you wonder what they're adding to it, changing to it. Oh,
Oh, sorry, you got cut off again.
yeah,
So yeah, it really does make you think.
yeah. Oh, I got the original games anyway. Whenever I can play them, I don't need
Yep.
whatever they throw at us.
I'll be installing them on my Windows 98 gaming PC once that's built.
Yep.
And I'll be enjoying them. But, like I said, I'm not entirely closed-minded. I am very curious but cautious about this. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I think the worst thing in the world would for it to be a near replica, and to be either legend or canon. Just
Yeah, we'll see
that's
what
what I think.
happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, hope you enjoyed our little discussion, and hopefully we'll see you in another one soon.